This episode of Filthy Casuals is brought to you by Harry's Razors. Go to harrys.com/filthycasuals for $5 off an order.
And don't forget, if you live in Sydney, this weekend you can come and see us do a Filthy Casuals live show. It's going to be heaps of fun. Special guests, us doing a live recording, and then a Mario Kart tournament. It's happening at Cake Wines in Sydney, Saturday, December the 16th. That was nice. You can find tickets at our website, filthycasuals.com.au. Please come down. We'd love to see you guys there. Anything to add, boys? I've sort of said it all, haven't I?
Yeah.
Probably should have just moved on.
This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
Good morning, video games. Welcome to Filthy Casuals, a podcast about video games hosted by three very kind and extremely knowledgeable boys. My name is Tommy Dassolo, and with me, as always...
Ben Vanel, it's episode 112, and here's Adam Knox.
Oh, no. It's episode 112, and it's Christmas. Here's an elf.
Okay.
Really the
Yeah.
only one you could have done.
112, and this bit Ben's been doing's been shelved.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's all right.
Episode 112, and I've overstepped the mark.
I mean, it's almost like I threw it to you for a reason. Because I didn't think I could rhyme anything with 12.
I wonder
master
if there's
improver
anything
himself.
more that rhymes with 12. It's episode 112. I wonder if there's any deeper we could delve.
That's
that'd
probably the
have to
only
be it.
word, yeah.
I was actually thinking about this on the drive over here, going, I wonder what that little scamp has lined up for us. And never could I have predicted that it would have been like this.
The left turn that I hooked into.
Now it's my bit.
What do you guys think about this?
Ooh,
Nice.
I
Just
Tommy
turn the light on in Ben's apartment.
Yeah.
And you know what? I hate it.
Do you really?
Yeah.
We were just on the cusp of it being
Yeah.
too dark to rely on natural light.
Yeah.
You've always hated this lights on, lights off review scale, Knox. And now it's passed into the real world.
There's a joke that what's his name who used to host Nevermind the Buzzcocks?
Simon Amstel
had about like you ever have those days when all you do is turn on a light switch once.
Oh.
And it really
That's a hilarious joke.
he made it funny, but the bit that resonated with me was like, yes.
So that's why you hate lights, is because of that joke.
Yeah.
That joke gaslit you into hating lights.
It did. I prefer gas lighting, ironically. I don't
Okay.
like electronic lights.
Is that where you light a fart on fire?
Yeah.
That's the only way you illuminate your kitchen?
It's got to be a big fart if you want to read a book.
Now, lighting a fart on fire, when's that coming back?
What do you mean coming back?
I mean, you just never
Baby,
hear
that never went out.
just don't hear of people doing it anymore.
Maybe it's because you're an adult now.
Yeah, but, you know, Jim Carrey does it in Dumb and Dumber, and he's an adult when he did that.
Yeah, that's true. It is a pretty 90s thing.
It's
Yeah.
a very 90s comedy thing, you know?
I feel like they don't slime people anymore as well.
Sliming, I'm fine. I'm fine to be done with sliming.
Well, but that was the 2000s one.
Yeah.
The gross thing.
Right. But that was only at the Nickelodeon Awards, right? That
What
wasn't a universal thing.
Yeah, no, that's true. What do the kids do now if they want to be gross?
Sext each other?
Yeah.
Snapchat? I don't
Dab
know.
into a pile of shit.
I reckon sliming's probably still happening. In the Nickelodeon, I don't reckon Nickelodeon would have let go of it. Something that they made so big. I reckon
Yeah.
at their award shows and stuff, they still do it.
Well, speaking of awards shows,
Oh, shit.
hey?
Kojima got slimed this weekend.
A lot of slime kind of looking stuff in Death Stranding, to be fair.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
true.
he's single-handedly bringing it back. And boy,
Yeah.
oh boy, if there's a bit in that where you light a fart on fire, you hold L1, you hold L1 to aim the lighter,
Yes.
and then you're using the stick to kind of position it at the proper distance away from the anus.
Yes.
And then you're holding down the R2 trigger to let rip.
Shit, yeah. He will finally deserve the title of genius.
There's a bunch of shitting mini games in the South Park game that came out recently.
Nice.
So that's the closest you've got at the moment.
Right.
But in the category for games that let you light farts on fire, no winners. And they shouldn't have had the category.
Yeah, that is. They persist from the 90s till
These
now.
game
They
awards.
can't even think of a list of nominees.
Yeah.
Arguably, they just shouldn't be bothering to present the award on the night.
You know, I haven't written down any of the people or games who won any of the awards.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are a lot of announcements. If you don't know what they are, the Game Awards are like this very corporate version of the Oscars that this guy Jeff Keighley, who's like a big video games journalist personality person, has set up.
He was on Spike TV, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
He's like us.
Basically, yeah.
Influential figure in the world of gaming.
Yeah, very.
People live or die by what he thinks. The people that follow him just worship him like a god.
Yeah.
Just like this, the listeners of this.
That's right. The people who listen to him buy Switches or don't based on what he says.
Yeah. And then get annoyed at him for how much he's talking about the Switch. In a move that drives him insane.
We're also a podcast that has broken a lot of world exclusive trailers. We get a lot of announcements coming through us because of the reach we have.
Yes.
So yeah, I've got here just a list of.
So these happen on the Friday. There is an awards component, but for some weird reason, it's started being used as a breaking ground for announcements and trailers and stuff.
I feel like they used to do the same show on Spike TV or G4 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it was the same kind of thing where basically video game companies will go to whoever can get eyes on things. That's why E3 is still a thing.
Yeah.
For now.
That's why We 3 is still a thing.
So
but it's like Breath of the Wild won Best Game, and we don't really know any of the other.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild did really well. I know Mario
won Best Narrative, which I disagree with, or something like that.
I disagree with that as well.
Yeah.
I'd argue Mario Odyssey has a better narrative than Hellblade.
But what I have here is a list of basically the announcements and stuff that went through in order.
And there were a lot this year, right?
There were a fair amount and some pretty cool things.
Yeah.
I was surprised by it.
It really does seem like a second E3 at this point. Like,
or at least into like... there's not as much stuff, but it's the only thing at the back end of the year. Well, because they had that PlayStation Experience thing as well.
That's right, yeah.
And there was barely anything that showed up as news from that.
Yeah.
The only thing I remember seeing is like God of War will be about 20 hours, which like...
Yeah, right.
Oh,
it's not an announcement. It's a liner note.
So do you want to just go through these one after another and then remember them, and then after I've read them all out in sequence, comment on them in order, and if you get the order wrong, we have to end the podcast.
Like this episode, or just we stop doing it forever?
The entire podcast is over.
The stakes are pretty high.
I reckon let's give it a go.
All right. From Software's new game, Campo Santo's new game, Guillermo del Toro's movie, weird semi-live trailer for Breath of the Wild DLC, Soulcalibur... No, okay, we'll do this properly.
Yeah, thank you.
From Software, the first thing was like literally a 4-second long little clip of some kind of fleshy machine looking drill bit or something from Software, the people that made Dark Souls and everything.
Okay.
Nothing to say about that because
except they're making a new game, which is cool because all of their games have been cool.
Exactly.
Basically just a proof of concept.
I think it's called Shadows Die Twice.
That sounds familiar.
It said those words at the end of the trailer, but it might also have just been some kind of slogan.
Or a poem.
I think those words sound familiar to you, Ben, because that's a reconfiguration of about 3 different James Bond titles.
Yes.
That's why you think it sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's true.
Shadows Die Twice.
That'd make
Another day.
That's a
is not
great
enough.
Bond movie now.
That's a great Bond movie.
Yeah.
Let's get James Bond on the phone. I went to say Daniel Craig, forgot it, and in a split second said James Bond instead.
Use the character name.
Yeah, fucking Jimmy.
Next up was a...
Fucking Jimmy is...
Jimmy Bond.
Is James Bond's other name.
Get an Aussie villain in James Bond who's just sitting around going, fucking Jimmy.
Dr.
Jimmy.
Very good.
Very nice.
Trailer for Campo Santo's new game was next. Campo Santo are the people that made Firewatch.
I did actually watch this one.
Yeah,
it looks cool. Like visually, it looks great.
Not a huge amount of like it's 2 women exploring a like old Egyptian ruin.
Yes.
But in like the 1910s ish.
Yep.
Yeah.
Taking a photo of it.
Right.
I was not sold. I think that visually it looks cool. The very start of it in the environment, I was like, okay, this looks cool. And then as soon as the person started moving and most of the trailer is in that first person view, that was one of the things I hated about Firewatch was the movement of him when he like looked around and when he would climb up stuff. I found very jarring how much his head moved around.
Discombobulated.
Yeah,
by that.
they are absolutely back on their bullshit in that regard.
Yes.
And then, I don't know, I mean, it's hard to take anything away from it. My view with it would be that it's, kind of exploring tombs and stuff in a kind of cartoony way, which may just feel like a very watered down version of like an Uncharted or a Tomb Raider, given that they've been two very big franchises in the last few years. But hopefully they've got enough of a different story-driven thing of it to make it unique.
Yeah.
But it didn't stick out as vividly for me as it would have if those games didn't exist or if I hadn't played them.
Just using Firewatch as the jumping off point, though, you'd imagine it's more about these two characters' relationship.
Yes,
and
totally.
Yeah,
whatever.
and I can also see them going like, maybe this time we will write a kind of weird supernatural story and it'll become kind of like a weird mystery thing.
The fact that there's a second character in it that you actually see is a big departure for them already.
I can see
that's
it being
true.
some kind of story, though, about like two photojournalists traveling the world and struggling to keep their job or something.
Yeah,
like it might
right.
be really mundane
Right.
in fantastical places, or supernatural.
Yeah.
But I was a big fan of the first one, and so
Oh,
I'm looking forward to seeing more of what it is.
Totally.
Yeah, 2019 that's coming out. There was they showed a trailer for the DLC for Breath of the Wild, and then had the developers up there, Enuma, is it?
Yep.
And just went, and go download it, please.
Yeah.
Now that was cool.
Yeah. I think we'll come back around to this later on.
Okay.
Or do you want to just talk about that DLC now? Because I
let's
played
talk about it.
I played a bit of it.
Yeah.
We can do it now. We can come back to it.
Let's
Let's
do
do it now, baby.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild, man. You just see something and you go and do it. And then maybe
So this
we'll
has
leave
been-
halfway through.
So this has been like weirdly done in the way that they kind of all year was saying, it's like November. And then November kind of came and went and just no word on it.
Yep.
And then them going, it's definitely coming out before the end of the year. And it's like, well, there's 2 weeks of that left. So, I wonder how much of this was deliberate all along versus, it's kind of a weird way to do it.
Yeah.
But it did mean that I thought that was a very cool way of doing it.
Yeah.
I guess they probably would have known coming from a fair way away that it was going to do very well at the awards. So I guess tying it in with that, because it did win a lot of the categories that it was nominated in. So me personally, I went to the Meredith Music Festival on Friday morning, and this all happened Friday at like midday, and I got no reception down there. But I did drop into service for about 5 minutes, long enough to see one of you in our chat go, the Zelda DLC is up now. And I've never wanted to immediately leave something more in my hole, because I couldn't even get details about what was in it, and it made it very hard for me to enjoy myself for the rest of the weekend.
No.
Lo and behold, I get reception as we're driving out of the festival, and what do I see? These motherfuckers have gone and put a fucking motorbike into the game.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I've played the main part of it. It's not super long. And what you do is there's like 4 sort of monoliths that show up in each of the 4 main areas of the world. You go to each of them. Accordion Bird's there.
Yep.
Cass.
Yep.
And he's like, what the fuck's this thing? My old teacher used to know about him, though.
Oh.
Which,
And then,
by the second time, you have to imagine he's got somewhat of an idea by now.
as he goes on, as you see more of them, he's like, oh, you're here again.
Right.
So they kind of did do. And then,
But he's already seen you like 30 times in the main
Yeah.
game before this happens.
I've got a little clue for you,
totally,
buddy.
like they should be friends by now.
Yeah.
This is the next bit of DLC. Cass has Alzheimer's, and
no.
you're just
Music is the only thing that keeps him grounded to reality.
Oh, yeah. It's like a mnemonic device.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then it's like Firewatch. You just like make a decision to bail on him and go to a different part of the wilderness.
Nice.
So 3 little images show up on these monoliths of like satellite photos of the world.
Okay.
You figure out where it is. You go there. There's some little task you have to do, which is like either go through these rings in order or like kill this
thing.
stronger
Right.
monster
Yeah.
than it was before or whatever. And then a shrine shows up. You do those shrines, do all of that.
Yep.
And then you unlock. Well, I don't. This is sort of a spoiler. If you want to skip this, if you're going to play it,
Well,
but
I'm
it's
gonna
not
play
that big
it.
of a deal.
I would love to hit the skip button.
Yeah.
It's a
Okay.
dungeon, right? It's like another thing that's like a
Yeah.
divine beast.
You do some stuff, and then you get the motorbike.
Okay,
Cool.
yeah. So the
Yeah.
motorbike is like the reward for doing all
I
that.
skipped a
You
part
skipped
of
the
it.
first bit, so
Yeah.
I've only done the first bit.
Yeah.
So the first bit is you go back to the very start of the game, the bit where you wake up.
Yeah.
And you
The
get
plateau?
given the plateau. Yeah, you get given this new sword that's like a trident-shaped thing.
Yeah, it's
that-
like a weird fork,
Yeah.
candelabra, Liberace type thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It comes to life and it sings you a song about
Yeah.
how you're welcome to stay in the house as long as you want.
Link Barachi grabs it.
It is what's it called? It's called the one-hit obliterator,
Something like that.
and it can kill any enemy in one hit.
But only twice in a row, and then it has to recharge, which doesn't take very long.
And
Right.
you, for having it equipped, you die as soon as you take a hit.
Okay.
So it then gives you 4 points to go to in the Great Plateau, where there's a swarm of enemies, and you have to take them all out with this thing, and you can't switch weapons. So
Right.
basically, if you take a hit, you're dead.
Yep.
And then when you take those enemies out, a shrine comes up, and then you do all those 4 shrines, and that's
Yeah.
what leads you to the bit of doing the monoliths.
Yeah, okay.
So having only just done that part, I thought it was a lot of fun. Like
Yeah.
it does change it up a lot. Like for having played a lot of it.
Yeah, that bit was cool. It gets a little bit... It's very much trip down memory lane thing it's doing.
Yeah.
Like all the new shrines are good.
The new shrines are really good, and they're laid out in very different ways to
Yeah,
all
totally.
the original ones as well.
I enjoyed
Right.
all of that stuff, and some of the thing of the vanilla game was like discovering these new areas, which you don't get again. Obviously, you can't
Yeah.
repeat that. But it is a bit lame that once you've done each of those 3 sets of 3 shrines, you fight each of the bosses from the vanilla game again.
Oh, really?
Oh, right.
Yeah, and
Oh,
that
okay.
I didn't like because those bosses weren't great the first time round.
Yeah.
Wait,
And
so you
then
mean when you've done the
you've done it,
the monoliths?
when you've done all 3 of the activities that each monolith gives you, then
Right.
you fight the boss from that area.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's because then you're right. There is a dungeon at the end,
Yep.
and it's really good. I think
Okay.
it's my
Okay.
favorite out of the ones that are in the game.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
That's
and
cool.
all the shit that happens in that is really cool.
Nice.
The ending of the DLC is really good.
Yeah.
That's great. I guess that thing of doing the bosses again, I mean, that's probably something to do with like it's hard for them to put completely new assets in, given that it is
Yeah.
DLC.
Yeah,
But also it is paid, so
Yeah.
it's not unfair to accept an extra level of...
Yeah.
I almost would have preferred not to have done them at all.
Yeah,
Right.
you're
than
right.
to go through and do them again.
This
it's
artificial lengthening of something.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's such a Nintendo fucking thing to just go, you like these bosses enough, right? Like Mario Odyssey just did that. as
Yeah.
well.
But I
Yeah.
was thinking that while I was playing it, not knowing that was coming up, is that they do... They're very guilty of that in Mario, but in the past they've never really been guilty of it in Zelda so much, I don't
Right.
think.
There's, I feel like it does happen in one of the, or like a couple of, I can't remember really.
But Mario's it's like
Always
some
do
of
that.
this is like pretty egregious, whereas
Yeah.
I don't feel like they've ever.
Having to go through and do all 4 of them again just really feels like there's a kind of a thing of like the first time it took me ages to figure this guy out, and now I know exactly
I get
the
it,
tricks.
yeah, yeah.
Right, and
But
it, like
that
it
also-
shows you your progression in the game.
but
Yeah.
which also kind of makes it more boring.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like-
it's less. Yeah. Okay.
It's
yeah.
just a bit of a chore. those
And I
bits.
got the impression from the trailer that you get a bunch of cutscene stuff of showing you stuff
Yeah.
of the
So you've-
champions, and I think the champions
Yeah.
are all really well done characters.
Yeah.
and-
I have enjoyed those cutscenes so much more
Great.
now that I've switched from the English voices.
oh yeah, yeah.
It, it is so much more engaging. But yeah, you get more of the
Oh yeah, because that came
flashbacks.
out after you'd finished the game originally, right? Yeah.
So if you haven't finished this yet, which you're in the situation of, Ben,
Yes.
it's kind of, it slots in after you've beaten those 4 dungeons and before you kill Ganon.
Great.
So yeah, that's a good place to play it.
I just really loved having an excuse to just play it again. I mean, I've sort of tried to pick it up a couple of times since beating Ganon, and
Yeah.
just have kind of found myself in a bit where I haven't immediately found something that's kind of gotten its hooks back into me again. 'Cause I
Right.
still have a bunch of shrines that I haven't found, but just actually having a real purpose to it, and it being this far away from the release, I was like, oh man, this is just so good to be back in.
It's very much pointed out to me that even though I like the shrines and I like the way it plays and all of that stuff, that the thing with that game that made me love it was exploring and
Yeah.
seeing all this new
Yeah.
stuff. And once you take that out of it,
Yeah.
it is a lot less fun.
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
totally. It is
Well-
a different thing.
well,
but even
I-
just like
but
the
it's still fun.
But even the bits that
Yeah.
it sends you to, like, because there's so much of it, and even just finding, like, there's also new armor and stuff in it,
Yeah.
and it basically, the way that's done, it's the same as the other DLC, where it's like you go find a book that then has a little riddle about kind of where it is.
Yeah.
And just even that, like, making you go back to these places
Totally.
is so much more satisfying than if it just turned up in your inventory, because, yeah, there's heaps of spots in there that I've been once and then forgotten about. Like,
Right.
And the nooks and crannies are interesting to look at, but without that scale and that scope and that idea of like, what the fuck's around the corner?
Oh,
Yeah.
the climbing the towers and watching the map
Oh,
fill
yeah.
in and
Yeah.
not knowing was there was like one of my favorite things of anything I've played.
It's-
Like I
yeah.
got anxious about
Yeah.
the map beat. Like I wanted to complete it, but I was just like, it's going to be such a bummer when there's not more unknown.
Totally. And it turns out that it is a little bit.
Yeah.
Because then you go up real high and you fly somewhere and you're gliding and it's really cool.
Yeah.
But you're like, I know what that is.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's still really cool that like the way that they dealt with having the draw distance be far enough that you can see everything all at once all the time kind of is so good and so necessary for that game.
Yeah.
And so my question is, and I don't know if I've deliberately not looked up anything about it because I kind of want to find it for myself and I can't wait to get it. But is the bike sick?
I have the motorbike and it's funny.
Right.
I don't really give a shit about it.
Okay.
Right, okay.
It doesn't control particularly well. You can't use it in certain places.
Oh, right.
It's a funny thing to give you. Like,
I
it's
think
a cool
that's
thing.
yeah.
Right.
Oh, there's also a thing in it where you
Having
can
like a plane would have been cool. Like a
Yeah.
proper.
Well, they said in an interview that they were going to have a hook shot in it. They cut the hook shot out.
Yeah.
Right.
And they had this idea that you were going to be able to use 2 hook shots where you would kind of fly around like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right.
But that got binned. But there's also a thing where you can get a saddle for your horse that means that you can summon it anywhere.
That is better than the motorcycle.
Really?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really like that. The horse thing, I never used horses because
Yeah.
I got one out once
and then
and it was too far away and I went, okay, well, fuck you then if you can't be bothered showing up
Yeah.
and doing the work.
Yeah, yeah.
Like in Red Dead Redemption or whatever, or The Witcher,
Yeah,
where it
they
just
just-
shows up.
Yeah.
Teleport to you, Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
and it just does that now.
Yeah, right.
And it warps like you do. Like they already had a teleport
Yeah.
thing
Fuck.
in that game.
Yeah.
But
That's what I think. When I
it's
read
so
the
much
motorbike
better.
thing, I went, what the fuck? And then you see the picture of it and it's like, oh yeah, there's already like crazy robots running around and
Yeah.
there is all this high-tech shit in it. So it absolutely
And
fits
it's
in.
cool. It does feel fun to go around tearing about in this motorbike,
I do
but it doesn't
think that
control particularly well in it.
In terms of
Right.
like DLC and an unlock for this, like, let's assume that it's the final
Yeah.
bit of content that they're going to add.
I hope it is.
I just
honestly.
think that's great. Like, I think
Yeah.
that's just such a genius move of like fan service, but also
Yeah,
it's
something
like
that's just fun.
you've spent
it's
hours
not the
and
best
hours.
part of that DLC though. There's
Right.
other stuff that's in there where you're like, fuck, this is really clever. And there's a weird number of puzzles that use the motion controls.
Oh, yeah, I haven't gotten
So,
up to
you know
one yet.
those little pedestals where you had to activate and it was the weird helix thing on
Yeah,
top of it.
yeah, yeah.
There's an an oddly high number of them.
Right.
Because I never enjoyed them.
No, they're
Yeah.
the worst.
Yeah, especially because I played it on the Wii U.
They might be the worst aspect of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be up there.
Yeah.
Enemy variety. Yeah.
But I do
Yeah.
think that, I just think that's such a great move of like, hey, you've explored this world for, let's say you got it on day one and you've played it heaps and
Yeah.
you're getting this stuff as it's coming out,
Now let's
hundreds
break
of
it.
hours.
Yeah.
And now here's this thing where you can, it's absolutely going to change the way that you can get around in it
Yeah.
if you want to
Yeah,
again.
and that's the problem is that it kind of doesn't really.
Right.
Yeah, right.
It's not that much of a. It's splitting it apart like I'm going to tear around here, and I kind of wanted it to be that.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty good, and like if you've got the game and liked it and haven't bought the expansion thing, I
Hello.
honestly don't think you're missing out on heaps.
Right.
I don't think you're missing out on heaps, but I think that it's and that between that and the master trials and the like I said, the armor stuff is all fine, but it just the fact that it forces you to kind of go back and re-explore.
Totally.
I
Look at
think
this
it's-
world in like more detail than
Yeah,
you did.
right.
Yeah, I think there's
yeah.
totally the value for money is there if
Yeah.
you're liking it. If you know if you're liking it enough already to consider that.
Yeah. I don't hate that, but like, it's kind of 50-50. It's,
Yeah.
it's fun if you get it. You're not missing out on anything if you don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah. This was kind of hyped up as being
The big one, right?
the
Like,
big one where we were maybe going to get like a totally new area, which I guess
Yeah.
is true. But I mean, like a new part of the map or.
Story mode was like a new store. Like I'm sure that was the wording
Yeah.
that was used.
Well, that's
yeah.
kind of. I guess that's sort of what this is.
it has more flashbacks,
right.
Yeah.
which
Right.
again wasn't what I was after.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Same.
guess to be fair, that's the story in Breath of the Wild.
Kind
Yeah.
of, yeah,
Yeah.
It's a big part of it at
Yeah.
least, yeah. So it's fine.
Yeah.
But again, what a strange position to be in, where it's like this thing that. Minimum the core game people are spending like 150 hours on.
Yeah.
And it's like a great position to be in when it's like the DLC comes out. It's like, there could have been more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
the thing, though. I guess the criticism is there could have been more of the part of the game that we really liked.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And
But there's so much of that already that, like, it's just a victim of its own high
Totally.
standard.
Well, I've been playing Zelda again the past week, heaps. Like I got back into it and I've been like, really punching through a lot of shrines. But I'm still like I've only done like 50 something shrines.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
right.
think I'm on like 70 or something like that.
I found the beach village for the
105.
first time like a
Yeah,
week
Right.
ago.
that was the last thing I found as well. For
Yeah,
some
right.
reason.
And I'm like, I'm over 80 hours into the game.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely still uncovering
There's
stuff.
still big patches when I turn on the path mode on the map. There's still big patches that I kind of have
Right.
not been, like I've kind of skirted around them that I've kind of been meaning to go to those and just kind of bypass through the middle and just see if there's anything there that I've
Totally,
kind of missed.
and it is,
Yeah.
and that is still cool. But yeah, you're looking at it in detail, and the effect was that scale, which
Right.
is gone after a while.
Yeah.
that game.
Right.
But it was good while it lasted, much like the Soulcalibur series, which is dead. Wait a minute, it's back.
Oh.
Soulcalibur 6 was announced.
Yes.
I really thought that series was done with, but I think probably off the back of Tekken 7 doing so well.
Right.
Maybe Soulcalibur 6 has been announced. There's not a lot of information about it yet, but
Yep.
I fucking loved the first two of them and then kind of fell off of that series.
Yep.
But that's cool.
Sword fighting game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or axes or
Yes. Melee weapons.
poles.
Halberds.
A halberd.
Scythe?
Oh.
Yes, there was some with a scythe.
Yeah, nice. The Grim Reaper.
A
Scimitar.
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 Are you
Right.
looking up types of
Just
melee
ignoring
weapons,
that.
Nox?
I am trying to think of one more. I'm
Shovel.
more of a lover than a fighter. I
Shovel.
can think of loving things. Dildo, beads, trailer for Battlefront 2 Season 1.
Okay.
That's the first set of DLC for Battlefront 2. They showed some of
Ah.
that. There's story stuff
Yeah, okay.
with it, which I didn't expect.
Yeah.
It's all free because they attempted to make their money
Yes.
in a different way.
Yes.
And it all looks cool.
Yeah, I'm into more story from that game. That
Yeah.
was fun. That was really fun.
And it's, what's her name?
The main character? Iden Versio? Yeah.
She's back and she's older than ever. It's her in like the modern Star Wars.
Yeah, cool.
So that looks cool. More multiplayer
Something
stuff.
I'm...
John Boyega's in it.
Fuck
now.
yeah. Finn.
Yeah.
I'm kind of annoyed by the fact that her name's Iden Versio.
I think it's Verso.
Verso, maybe.
Verso.
Well, because in Rogue One, the character's name is Jin Erso. And
Yeah,
it sounds
right.
real similar.
I think it's Iden Versi. I can't remember.
It's similar enough that it annoyed
Yeah,
me.
if there was another character called like Garth Jada or something, that'd be really insane.
Yeah. Grab her the butt.
Party on, Garth.
After that, yeah, that looks cool. After
Yeah.
that, they played the Death Stranding trailer, which we did one of the YouTube video things we do.
Yes.
When we test our mics, you can go watch that if you want to think about what we thought of that.
If you want to think about what we thought of
Turn
it.
the volume off. Don't watch it. Have a little think about what we might have said.
Yeah.
But keep giving us them views.
Yeah.
We're just sort of talking shit over the top of it, but we don't really go into it too. We can talk a bit more about
I
it
guess so.
now.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, there's not
yeah.
a lot to take from it other than the tone of the game.
Yeah, and I think we kind of briefly mentioned this, like, it... And my big thing is, like, these are great short films, but Metal Gear Solid as a series has had really good creative cutscenes, and I've not connected with the gameplay for most of those games.
Right.
And
That's
nothing about this that makes me think that won't happen again.
That's starting to become my kind of fear a little bit, is that the fact that we're still not seeing any gameplay.
Yeah.
What does that say? Is that just purely a creative decision by Kojima, who's just like gets his rocks off on being this like
Yeah.
kind of borderline filmmaker, an
Yeah.
auteur, where he's just like,
Yeah.
no, I just like getting up and showing little short movies.
The answer is
Or-
yes. There's no. You don't need to say "or." That's the answer.
Yeah, but it could be. It could
Yeah.
speak to the fact that
Yeah.
there's that it's just
That there's not much to show yet.
There's not much to show. It's not up to scratch or whatever.
It speaks equally true to both points.
Yeah.
I think
I
there's
agree.
definitely nothing to show gameplay wise, and he definitely loves showing these movies off.
Yeah.
Completely. And I've liked all of the games that he has made that
Right.
I've played. I didn't like the story elements of 5, but that was sort of not a result of him directly.
Right. What about 4? Because I also had a problem with 4's story stuff.
I liked it in a it was stupid, and you're
It's so
right not to
stupid.
like it,
Yeah.
but I really liked it.
Yeah.
See, I came to the PlayStation party like too late to kind of go in on Metal Gear now. I mean, a friend gave me 5 and I've got it sitting there. And I've put about 2 hours into it. So I've watched the opening.
It's not too late to get into Metal Gear. Survive's coming out soon, and it's going to be fucking good.
Yeah, maybe that's the one I'll go in on.
Yeah.
Maybe that can be my entry into the
Yeah.
franchise.
And you're just like, this is a terrible series of games.
I love all these characters. Wait,
I've seen Jaws 4.
but I've always I like everything that he, in spite of not having played them, all the stuff I've seen of it, I like the style and I want to be in so badly. So I'm kind of hoping that this can be a good entry into the world of Kojima, but I just want to know a bit more about what we're in for. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's somewhere a lot of people end up with Kojima too, is people are really into what he's about, but he hasn't nailed it really in a while.
I think he nailed it with the first Metal Gear Solid. Like that.
I think with the first 3 but yeah.
Well, I didn't play 2 or 3,
Right.
but that first one was like a fantastic game that rewarded skill and patience and all that kind of stuff, and had a kind of weird story.
But it was cool as well, and it was well done, and it was so different.
And it was pretty groundbreaking. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I do think it's worth noting that as far as 5 goes, I feel like you guys are in the minority. People fucking loved that game.
It depends where you're coming from. Like, I really like the game part of it, and I do not like the story part of it. And I was coming to that being a fan of the series, wanting the story to be great.
I think that there is a disproportionately high number of people we know who love it. I don't know if it's universally loved.
It did pretty, it made a lot of end of year lists that year.
I think it's one of
It was
those ones where over time people have weirdly flipped around on it a little bit too.
Right.
As in,
done a bit of a combat role.
like
from good
less.
to bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's one of those things that comes out and is almost like too big to fail, where it's so big and bombastic that in a year where you come into the end of the year list, it's like, well, it sticks out. This is the best thing of all time.
And that is that aesthetic thing that everyone loves. Just like everyone's like, I fucking want to love this game. This is so cool. And then it's like, maybe it was kind of tedious for most of it.
Totally.
Yeah.
It was a little repetitive. It was bloated. And
Yeah.
hopefully this time he nails it. Who knows what the fuck it even is.
I mean, this stuff that we're seeing, I mean, anything that's very cutscene heavy, you have to wonder, how much of this interesting stuff is actually happening in the middle of the game? Like all these people floating up and being pulled down. If you're running around in a level and that's happening, then that's sick. But if you're just basically in a town and then you end up in this other world and you watch a cutscene and then you're just back in this normal town, that will be a bummer.
Something that we started to kind of note in the trailer, you specifically, Knox, the dream stuff.
Yeah.
If this is all fucking dream sequences, then oh no.
I think it could be cool if it's like an Inception thing where that baby that they're so obsessed with is like they're going into the baby's head to try and get some thought out of it or something. It's powered by baby's dream juice in the future.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's going to be something to do with the dream world, but maybe it's connected to something else.
It would be
just a dream catcher. He was wearing a dream catcher.
Yeah. I think it would be disappointing if it was all a dream.
If it was all a dream, but they can use the thing of people's minds affecting the real world or something.
Man, you're
not
just sucking
thinking that-
Kojima's
No,
dick.
that's real. The people's minds affect their world. The way that you think about things.
I'm visualizing you shutting the fuck up.
Are you? Is it? I think the fact that death is in the title. I think it's maybe more of an afterlife thing,
Could be,
than a
yeah.
dream thing.
Yeah.
That's
Getting people back from the afterlife to rebirth them into those babies.
or some kind of link
Millionaires
between
pay millions of dollars to. You want more than $1 million to do it. Seem dangerous.
1 mil.
Yeah.
I think, or it's certainly there being some link between dreams and the afterlife and something there. But
A link between worlds.
interesting.
Holy shit.
Maybe Norman Reedus can turn into a bit of paper and flat Stanley his way into the afterlife somehow.
Fuck yeah.
Acts like a piece of paper in The Walking Dead. Oh, shit. No, he's actually all right. That
He's one of the
sucks,
better
though.
actors in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it all looks. I mean, again, we're all into it. Just who knows?
Yeah, I hope it's fun to play as well.
But we still have no idea of when it's
A very long time.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 5 took him about 5 years.
Yeah, fuck.
So, roughly
and we were saying
that.
this just after we finished recording that video, but
And it came out unfinished as well. So
Yeah,
like 7.
yeah.
we were, but like Norman Reedus being trotted out for all this publicity stuff when it's it's ages away from coming out.
Yeah.
His involvement is probably done.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing that he's just fucking tethered to this thing now.
Yeah.
I guess that happens with movies as well.
Yeah, but
Fair
the
amount.
movies, but it's like the movie's out in a month. Now you have to do like a month of junket stuff.
Yeah.
He's just going to be on this circuit for years.
Yeah, the movie's
Yeah.
out in 2022. Can you please bring it up at parties?
Yeah.
in the meantime?
I am starting to get the feeling that everyone involved thinks this is going to be the best game of all time.
Yeah.
Like, they're all so in.
Yeah.
It just seems like they're like, fuck yeah, this is going to be like the art house video game to beat them all. Like,
I just hope it's cool. Like, I hope it's weird and cool.
yeah.
You know?
It'll
Like
be a
me.
shame if it comes out and it's like, man, this would have just made a cool movie. Because that's
Yeah.
kind of what it looks like at the
Yeah.
moment. It's like, if these were just trailers for a film, you'd be going, fucking yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of movies, they showed a trailer for the new Jumanji movie. Speaking of art house. I've missed something. We'll talk about Jumanji.
Mate, you've missed.
Well, because I didn't realize this about the
Fair
new
bit.
Jumanji movie.
You missed my birthday this year.
Do you know they're coming? It's a video game this time, Jumanji?
Yes, I've seen I've watched the trailer.
I think that fucking sucks.
I really liked the original Jumanji.
Oh,
Yeah, me too.
We all
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
and the whole
yeah.
thing about that first Jumanji is it was this other world coming into the real world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now they're stuck in the other world.
This is the
Fuck
most
you, The
bizarre
Rock.
thing that remakes do, where it's just taking the core principle and just make this anything else.
Yeah.
Do you want to know something that I know because I'm a Jumanji super fan?
Here we go.
There was an animated series of Jumanji.
Yeah, I
where
remember that.
They were in the jungle world.
Right.
That's true, they were.
It was the reverse.
It was them
Right.
trying to get home.
Yeah.
I
And
think
it was-
the fact
that
that,
was-
it's a video game world just rubs me the wrong way a bit too.
I like take all of my love of Jumanji, the property aside. This one looks fucking awful.
Seems
Yeah.
like you think it's great.
Okay, you must have misheard me just then. But like,
Jumanji, what a stinker.
I'm off the rock train. I got to say that.
I'm not into him either.
Yeah,
What was the turning point?
he's making a lot of bad choices. Baywatch,
Yeah.
come on, mate.
Rampage,
He just wants to be loved by everyone.
San
like,
Andreas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if I met The Rock, he would tell me to be more positive, and I hate him for that. Do you know what I mean? I've
Sure.
visualized this in my head.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's gonna happen because we can
You know
affect
what's
the real world.
a real good movie?
What?
Walking Tall with The Rock.
He's
I think
been-
that's maybe one of his first.
He's been in some great movies.
Yeah.
And he's good, but he's made a lot of bad choices lately.
I would argue that though, in the realm of Hollywood, saying yes to doing a Jumanji reboot and a Baywatch reboot are actually very good choices.
Yeah.
Purely from
Yeah.
a making bank point of view.
Which I think he continues
and
to do.
in the
yeah, and
realm
him
of-
being a big star and them wanting him, it's
Yeah.
a smart thing for
And
him.
I guess
in the
like
realm of Hollywood people making bad choices as well, he's not the worst.
that's fair. That's fair. But I guess he's just the Arnie of our times, and Arnie
He
made
is,
a lot of
yeah.
shit, and he made a lot of good stuff.
He has
How old is he now? Because he feels like he's been around for
Arnold.
No, The Rock.
Oh.
Like it feels
Dwayne.
like The Rock has been a big movie star now for like 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's kind of having this weird kind of ubiquitous peak now is weird.
He's like what? He'd be
Hey,
like
Siri.
late 30s.
How old is The Rock? Give
It's gonna
give it time
You're
to
gonna,
think.
it's
It's
gonna be
gonna
like
tell you what year the mo-
Cretaceous.
It's not going to show me a boulder. Siri knows who The Rock
gonna
is.
tell you what year the movie came
Dwayne
out.
Johnson is 45.
45, motherfucker.
Wow.
Oh, good.
He's too old to be playing a video game to get stuck in.
That must mean that he that must mean that he was like
He was
pretty
30. What are you?
Yeah,
yeah,
but when
yeah.
he wrapped
He
up
started being in
wrestling.
movies.
Yeah.
But that makes
That's when you would
That
wrap
is
it up.
exactly the age that makes sense. for him.
Totally.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. No, it's all dawning on me now. You weren't piping up before when I was asking. You had to ask Siri how old he was.
Yeah, but that's
Just because it came from your phone doesn't mean that it's your
that's-
knowledge.
Yes, it does.
That's how the world works now. It's whoever can Google something
Yeah,
quickest.
I
Yes,
am
they own it.
incredibly
Smartest.
smart.
Yeah. Fuck.
We'll say thank you to Siri.
Thanks. Bayonetta 1 and 2 for the Switch in Feb.
I've never played any of them.
Well, you can
Me
play them both for the price
either.
of one.
I remember I played a demo of the second one on the Wii U and thought it seemed cool, but not enough at the time to go in.
Yeah.
But-
well, soon there's going to be 3 of them.
All three of them.
Because
Yeah.
the Bayonetta 3 got announced as well. So 1 and
Yeah,
2 re-released
yeah.
in February on the Switch.
Yeah.
Which is cool because, 2 was one of those games that kind of got trapped on the Wii U.
Yeah, right. So, and what kind of games are these?
Well,
Are
I'll
they
tell you,
like-
because I played the demo, I was like, oh yeah, this is all right.
Yeah.
And the thing that's made me more interested in it lately is I listened to an episode of Canon Rinse that they did about Beautiful Joe,
Oh, yeah.
which I don't know if you ever played that, but
No, but I've seen it.
yeah, like where you can, little action fighting game where you can like pause and rewind time and do all this stuff.
Yeah, was that a GameCube?
And then I think they ended up bringing some sequels out on a whole bunch of different
PS2.
consoles. I think it
Right.
ended up coming out on
Some
heaps of
stuff,
stuff. But they were sort of saying that it's a shame that game, that franchise has kind of died off, and then they make the point that Bayonetta is basically is basically the same game.
Yeah, right.
Character
Which
action games, they call them. Like Devil May Cry is one. Metal Gear Rising was one.
Right.
Near as elements of one.
Right.
So it's-
Is it God of War-ish?
A little like more fast paced and sort of
Okay.
a little different to that.
very
Yeah.
arcadey fighting and
Totally.
And
yeah.
wasn't the weird thing about like the clothes is like the
Your clothes rip off when you go into it.
It's her hair.
But yeah.
Makes a bunch of different stuff. She's like a witch.
right.
And they've got like a dumb, goofy sense of humor sort of thing. So,
Right.
yeah, I've never gone too deep into either of them.
I mean,
but,
yeah, I'm excited for it to be out. I mean, it's kind of it feels like a bit of a chore that 1 and 2 are coming out at the same
Yeah.
time. It's like
Yeah.
just pick one and
Yeah.
bring
Yeah.
that out. Like if we've never played it, then just put your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
But what are they? They're coming out as. To be fair, they're coming out as it's 2,
you
but
buy
2, but and then 2 has a download code for
Yeah.
1 in the box.
Oh, yeah.
So it's the price of one.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And there being a third one coming along. I mean, yeah, I'm excited to get to go in. It's a smart move. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Like no one played it because it was the Wii U, but yeah, having gotten interested in it again recently after hearing that comparison to a game that I really like, I'm excited about this now.
Nice.
Exactly. Bayonetta, I barely know her. I have a note here that says the announcer lady accidentally said best game erection instead of direction.
Nice.
Now, you say you have a note here. You wrote the note.
Yeah. And I have that note.
and you treasure that memory.
Yeah. No, there were a couple of giggles from the crowd, as I remember.
Excellent.
There were a million ads.
That's
for
disappointing. Like that should be in a just society.
Stop the show.
Yeah, people would they'd have to end broadcast.
Yeah.
Surveyors would come in because the roof is starting to cave in.
Like in when you're in school, if like the magnetic eraser fell off the whiteboard,
Oh, yeah.
you go, bruh, this teacher's a fuckwit.
Yeah, but the
laws
magnetic-
of gravity shouldn't apply to a superior.
But then a magnetic eraser falls off and hits a marker that goes flying, and by coincidence writes erection on the
Yes.
whiteboard.
And as everyone goes to watch the marker move, they see a dog outside, and he's gotten in the school somehow.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I imagine it's snowing in America. They seem to get excited for that at
Yeah.
schools.
Water
Oh, yeah.
bombs, muck up day.
Yes.
It was
Say.
on muck up day.
To any American listeners, if you're looking outside right now at the snow falling down, good on you.
Yeah. And keep in mind that in Australia, I'm kind of quite hot.
Yeah.
It's pretty warm in
It's
here.
warm. It's a warm one. It's warmer than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, should we do a weather report?
Yes.
Okay, hang on. I want to get the app up so this is accurate.
Yeah.
So it's currently 8:30 p.m. on
That's not a temperature, Tommy.
Monday, the 11th of December. No, I'm giving context.
Oh, okay.
And currently outside in Thornbury,
Yes.
it's 18 degrees and sunny.
Well, that's not very hot.
That's
No.
pretty warm, but we're also upstairs in a not super well ventilated apartment.
Yes.
We like to keep the smell in.
It's going to be about 14 overnight.
Okay.
It's going to be 37 degrees on Wednesday.
Fuck off.
That's pretty cool.
That's incredibly hot.
That's really hot.
Wow.
We normally record this on Wednesday, so thank
Oh,
God we're
yeah.
not doing that.
I'm going to my sister's graduation on Wednesday. It's going
Are
to be
you
a
really?
stinker, yeah.
Oh, man, she's going to be wearing one of those fucking robes
Yeah.
in that heat.
Oh, well, it'll be an...
She's going to slip over on her own sweat when she gets up on the stage.
It'll
and
be
her
an
mortarboard's going to go
air-conditioned-
flying and it's going to go into someone's neck like Oddjob.
What?
And then she's going
And
to...
then she'll turn into them.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're only in second year. And then she'll say, here we go again. And that'll be the start of the greatest summer movie of all time. 1 million ads for Warframe took place.
Yeah. Now, is that one of those, like, free-to-play online multiplayer things?
It's exactly that. Yeah. And it's like
Don't
a
give a
shooter
fuck.
type thing. No, I couldn't care less either. But I think
It is our job to report.
And it's also suffering for having been announced after a woman accidentally said erection. Let's not forget that. Even if it had
Yeah.
been... I feel like we would have all missed the Zelda DLC if that had been
Oh, we'd be
at
in
this point of
hysterics.
proceedings.
But yeah, so that happened. We don't really care. But yeah,
You finish the final shrine of the DLC, and then Link gets a big boner. The end.
A few different VR things. Some game Justin Roiland is in, the Rick and Morty guy.
Oh yeah.
And it is exactly what you think it is. You're trapped inside a virtual hell where Justin Roiland keeps coming up to you, going like, I'm talking a little bit, having pauses in the manner of my speech, so it sounds sort of casual, which is the thing with comedy at the moment.
Totally.
To have a bit of a change your sentence halfway through.
And the thing with comedy about 5 years ago was to like reference itself and be very meta. So that's great.
Yep. The thing about comedy in 5 years, tearing down other comedy.
The thing about comedy right now, erections.
At Meredith, which is a music festival that happens in country Victoria. We should say that you've been to a few times, Adam. I walked past someone's campsite and they had a Pickle Rick flag. Ooh. Now, how'd they end up in the mix? Doesn't that seem like a group of people that wouldn't be interested in a music festival?
That's the Venezuelan flag, and you're being...
You shouldn't have burnt it, basically. Fuck.
Venezuela's national anthem, Get Swifty.
Nice. Very nice.
Oh,
Adam likes that one. He's really tickled himself.
I liked the noise Ben made immediately after that.
It reminded me of like
I'm imagining everyone at the UN going, fucking Venezuela again. To be fair, you have to have a pretty high IQ to be a citizen of Venezuela.
Oh, nice.
It reminded me of like one of those Facebook ads you get that like is auto-generated, and it was like an Adidas like symbol, but it was Rick's head and it said Swifty instead of Adidas.
Yeah.
It made me want to vomit.
Or
you know what I love? When corporations take jokes and kill them.
I like those auto-generated ads where it's like, hey, you might like this jumper, and it's a jumper that literally just says Ben on it.
Well, like, it's a Ben thing.
Yeah. Those are the best.
Yeah.
Those deserve more credit.
There was one of those automatically generated jumpers that said, keep calm and Adam Knox.
Well, I know what we have to get for our live show.
Oh, yes. Let us know if we made up T-shirts in that design that said "Keep calm and Adam Knox." Would you buy one?
Don't. I stand to directly benefit from this, and I'm telling you, do not do it.
I'm happy. Look, I'm happy to take my cut and give it to you, given that it's your name on the shirt. I don't want any money for this.
I will be giving it to the Queen of England, who truly owns that phrase.
You're old, mate.
Yeah, we go way back. Little Big Planet's developers Media Molecule showed their game that's been around for fucking years.
Right.
It's been shown a little bit, called Dreams. And it's basically the same sort of concept as Little Big Planet, so make whatever you can think of.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's more three-dimensional and looks like it's more flexible. That it looks cool,
right?
If people use it to create cool stuff, which
people seemed to do for Little Big Planet, but it was never stuff that I particularly engaged in.
Totally. But I didn't really like the way that game played, so I never really liked that stuff. It always felt bad. So if they can fix that with this one, then
the way that it was kind of floaty in the way that I remember the way that you grabbed onto things,
and you like move the arms independently. It was very strange.
All of the physics, felt very loose and like they were stuck in jelly.
Yeah, which was weird because it was clearly something that they'd spent a lot of time on and thought was like doing something. And I'm sure, other people would like it, but for me, I was just like, this just is off.
Yeah.
I think it benefited from being like a really early console game that incorporated all the community stuff really well.
Totally, yeah.
But I didn't find it that fun to play.
But I'm up for them trying again.
Yeah.
New stuff for PUBG, which is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
So Desert Map's already out, right?
It's on like the test server, so you can play it now, but it's not in the main thing yet. And there's like vaulting.
Right.
So jumping over fences.
Right.
Doesn't sound like a big deal, but it is.
Yeah.
It's so funny that this game is so big and people talk about it so much and it's technically not out yet.
It's out by the time this episode is out.
Oh, wow.
Really?
I think.
Wow.
Okay, but still.
So it is officially...
it is releasing this month at the very least.
Right. It'll be up for Game of the Year.
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
And that game is so fucking fun, and that map looks great. And I'm just keen for them to keep adding stuff to that forever.
Nice.
I really like that game. What else we got here? There's some game called GTFO. It's a squad zombie
sounds
shooter
awful.
thing. It did not look good. It's by the people who did Payday.
Okay.
A game I've never played.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that are not awful, let's do an ad.
Oh, yeah.
You know the best segues where you go, Speaking of the opposite of the thing we were speaking about.
Yeah, you were thinking about something bad. Now think about something good. Our sponsor, Harry's Razors.
It's like changing with 12 dead in that car crash. The puppies were on patrol today. There's a new bunch
12
of
dead.
police
A dozen
dogs.
puppies were released into... So Harry's Razors is sponsoring this episode, as they have done before. And now, it's a particularly good time of year to talk about razors.
It's a red letter week.
What?
I've never understood that phrase. I shouldn't have used it.
I didn't understand it then.
I know when someone says something is an important time, they say it's a red letter day. I think you maybe used to send a red letter to mark an occasion.
Oh, yeah.
Continue.
It'd stick out in the mailbox.
But wouldn't everyone then just like put their stuff in a red envelope so the system would become...
it'd be like when you get a priority email where they've all got the exclamation marks. It's like, Harvey Norman's having a sale. Oh, glad I saw that.
Well, that's why we all have to monitor our own misuse of things and be more responsible. Speaking of responsible, Harry's is a very responsible company. They've chosen to sponsor us. But as I mentioned before, it's Harry's is a good thing to think of when it comes to gifts. It's a gifting time of year.
That's true.
And Harry's have specifically released a gift pack. So there's it's got right. It's got their 5-blade cartridge, close shave razor. It's got foaming shave gel. It's got a limited edition winter chrome and emerald green handle, which
hell yeah.
just sounds very tasty, if you ask me.
It does, like a candy cane.
And you can personalize this razor handle with an engraving if you so wish.
I like that.
So this gift set, just to repeat, it's got your blades, it's got your shave gel, it's got your winter chrome and emerald green handle, and you can engrave that mother.
If someone gets this and sends us a photo of their engraving and it says, "Keep calm and Adam Knox," we'll send you something.
That might be too many characters, but give it a go.
Well, great. Then we never have to get off our asses and do anything for them.
Yeah.
Can you still get iPods engraved?
Oh, I got mine. When I first got like what would have been an iPod Mini, probably.
Yeah.
A silver one. I got my name engraved on it.
Wow.
right.
Yeah.
What a virgin.
I'm a special little boy.
I never got an engraving because I sat there for about 2 hours trying to think of a good engraving.
Right.
That's why I don't have any tattoos.
Yeah.
Can you remember what the shortlist was?
Like honk honk or whatever. Just
Honk Honk was on the short list.
It's number one. But I just couldn't think of anything particularly good.
Hey, whose iPod is this? It says honk honk on it.
Goose comes up.
Keep calm and Adam Knox. That's right. Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Fucking
honk honk. That's so great.
When I was 18, I was thinking about getting a tattoo of the Nintendo, like the Mario mushroom.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't, and I don't regret not getting it.
See, that's so weird to me because by your own admission, you barely like the Mario games at all.
I liked them up until that point when I was 18.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So fucking jump off, bitch.
I want to get the code that they can use to get $5 off tattooed on my arm.
Well, so just before we get to that, the gift sets start at $10. So that's pretty good. They also come in gift boxes, so it's you don't have to do any work. Just give it to your dad, give it to your boyfriend.
Make sure they don't listen to this so they know how little you've spent on them.
That's correct. And yeah, you can go to harrys.com/filthycasuals and you'll get $5 off your order. So if you get a $10, that's down to a $5.
Holy shit.
That's a fucking cheap gift, baby. This holiday, give Harry's and give Hanson.
I would say
Wait
also...
a minute. You've interrupted the prophecy.
Pardon me.
Get your holiday shopping done early and take advantage of free shipping.
Oh, shit.
I had to read that one verbatim. Sorry.
Yep.
Have at it.
I would say another category of people that would be interested in this, not just gift givers. Let's say you're a department store Santa.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say you're a department store.
Yeah.
You can get around all that red tape.
You can undercut this
And
price.
just chuck a few extra bucks on it. You're making a sweet profit.
A department store Santa now... One of the last people I would think would want to shave.
Yeah.
But come December 26, maybe you want to get rid of that beard, especially in this country. It's summer, baby.
So
Yeah,
this is
that's true.
targeted at dads, boyfriends, department store Santas.
ZZ Top impressionists who are wanting to get out of the game.
Okay.
Let's not be gendered. It's 2017. There's some fucking hairy women out there.
That's true.
Yeah.
they
that's
they
true.
might want it. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Hell
So-
yeah.
So
If
mum's
you got a
girlfriend,
neighbour's dog who you hate.
mum's girlfriend, and Mrs. Claus's.
Wow, what a move. Giving your mum a razor set on
That
Christmas. From her darling child like, Mum, you're a bit hairy.
I mean, menopause hits hard.
And that's written in the card.
Yes. It's written in the copy.
What was that website again?
Harrys.com/filthy casuals.
Hell yeah.
5 bunkos off.
No, I don't have a segue.
All right.
Metro Exodus. There was a trailer for. This is towards the end of the presentation now.
Yep. It's a sweet looking game, that Metro Exodus.
Yep. They
Yeah.
showed a bit more walking around in wintertime, sort of Russia-ish.
Yep.
I don't know if it's in Russia, but it's around there.
Yep.
And it looks cool.
Yep.
Not a huge amount of stuff though. So that was most of the stuff from the Game Awards, and then a couple more announcements happened over this bloody weekend. Get a load of this.
Yeah.
Last month of the year, people are wanting to get in hot before 2018 rolls around.
Oh, yeah.
Would have thought that we would have this much to talk about this late in the year. Next
us.
week, different story.
Yes.
There's a new Tomb Raider. Extremely
Raider,
boring
you
game.
say.
So that's Mario teaches typing, except it's Lara Croft.
And it's just the one word tomb, and it shows up on the TV, and you read it as many times as you want.
And the console has
infinitely
no way of
replayable.
registering whether you read it correctly.
No.
No.
It's one of those sort of things where you have to play along yourself, be honest with yourself, and keep score.
I think Tomb Raider is that new Campo Santo game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Tomb Raider, a new game, was like confirmed on Twitter by them because they wanted to be like, hey, we're not going to show anything. There was a rumor that we were, but we are working on a game.
Yep.
But when we show it, it's going to be close to release.
Yeah, nice.
Which I think is a really cool thing of them to say because, like, of fucking course it's being made.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Rise of the Tomb Raider was like 15th of the best games of all time on that Time 100 list.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
silly.
it was
Yeah.
really high.
It's
Yeah.
not that good. But Street Fighter 30th anniversary is the other thing that was announced.
Yeah, this is a collection with like...
It's got all of the 2D Street Fighters, basically.
Yeah.
So that's like 1, all the versions of 2 and 3, and the Alpha series.
Yeah.
Right.
And which they just bought out Street Fighter 2 on the Switch like a
Yeah.
couple of months ago.
Like
Yeah.
technically a new version of that, but with 2 kind of lame new characters.
Was it called Street Fighter 2 Turbo?
It was
that?
Hyper Street Fighter 2 Turbo,
Oh,
I
right,
think.
right.
It was a port with some HD graphics.
Yeah,
and
right.
Exactly. And the kind of bad HD graphics from
Yeah.
like 2006 or whenever that was,
Yeah.
when they made that 360 version, and HD graphics of 2D stuff back then looked a little like Flash animation.
Newgroundsy, yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
So you'd be spewing. I mean, it's kind of on you because it was already a bit of a piss take to bring that out at full
Yeah.
price.
Yeah.
I don't think it was full price. I think it was like 2/3 price.
I thought it was $80.
I don't think it was 80. It probably would have been 40, 50.
Okay.
Yeah,
Which
I
is
think it was-
still high for a game
Yeah.
that old.
Yeah.
it should have been a $15 download.
Yeah.
Like it.
Given
and
that it's on the NES,
Well,
SNES Mini, which was
Yeah.
like $100.
now they've
Yeah.
kind of themselves told you exactly what it should be valued of.
Yeah.
About 1/9 of
Yeah,
a
yeah.
full price.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fucking bummer for anyone who went in on that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm imagining everyone who did was either starving for something to play on the Switch at the time
Yeah.
or a massive Street Fighter fan.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, for it to come out that quickly, I mean, this would have been in the works presumably
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
they bought it out, which is kind of hard to swallow.
Maybe,
like,
Yeah.
maybe not. I mean, like, it's relatively simple, I imagine, to convert those games.
but also
I
like
don't
it's
know.
an anniversary collection, which they
Sure.
it's a timed thing, so they know
If it's
coming up.
anything like my bloody anniversaries, they got this from the service station on the way home.
Nice.
Very good. Hello.
I hate my my wife. That's comedy as well.
Hello to Knox's girlfriend.
I think that's cool. I think that's cool that that's coming out. I didn't really have
Yeah.
any interest in getting the
Yeah.
Yeah,
number 2,
yeah.
but I might get this.
And so not all of them have online multiplayer, but some of them do.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, the final versions of each of them
Right.
have multiplayer, which is great.
And that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm stoked for that.
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely get it. I'm not sure if it's just the Switch or if it's on everything.
I think it's on everything.
Yeah. Cool.
Right.
Perfect. Well, them's the news.
That's
Are they
that's
also
pretty good.
That was the week that was. Good night, everybody. My name's Worst Newscaster.
Wake Up Worst? There's one more thing that I just remembered. There's a Mega Man thing. They're
Oh, yeah.
bringing out a new Mega Man
11?
game,
Yeah.
and they're also
Yeah.
doing a legacy collection of all of the Mega Man X's.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I've never played any of the X ones.
I started playing the one that's on the SNES Mini.
Right.
All right.
Is that just the first one?
Yes.
Okay.
But people love those games,
Yeah.
and that's cool. And it's also cool that there's a new one coming.
Totally.
Yeah.
I have Mega Man 2 on the NES, and I
I
fucking
kind of
loved
wish
it.
all those were in the collection as well. I
There's
have to
another
say.
collection.
Yeah.
with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they've done 2 already, and they're split between that or something.
Right.
Okay, right.
And my memory of it was that it was like these aren't great conversions of them somehow.
Fuck, it's a shame when they someone does a port or an emulation and they kind of fuck it.
Yeah.
It should be the easiest thing you can do.
Yeah.
Keep it the feel exactly the same, but yeah.
Yeah. Why don't they just make better games?
It's simple. Just do it better.
Thanks. I'm glad you guys understand my position. Well, I guess that's us for another week here at Filthy Casuals.
Well, before we finish up,
I've got another thing as well.
yeah, what's your thing?
Monster Hunter.
Okay. Talk about it, baby.
They had a beta over the weekend. It was basically the same demo that was at PAX.
Right.
I got to play more of it. That game, I'm really, really into.
Yeah,
it's
nice.
cool. There's a lot of different weapon types.
Yep.
And each one of them basically plays like a fighting game character. So
Oh,
they're
yeah.
all very different from one another, and you have to kind of learn your shit with them.
Yeah, cool.
And I really am looking forward to spending more time with that game.
Nice.
That's
Great.
basically all I have to say about it, but it seems cool.
Great.
I have been playing a game called The Sexy Brutal, possibly the worst named game of all time.
It's
It's a shit name. It's a fun game.
Right.
It's a nice little rhyme I just came up with.
Yep. Shit name, fun game. Ben's new segment.
It's kind of set in this kind of horror, macabre, like 1920s, 30s hotel casino thing. And you kind of wake up and you've got this weird mask on. It's like a masquerade ball thing. And you can like move from room to room. It's an isometric view.
I prefer Gatorade to Masquerade.
You can
Continue.
peek through the keyholes to see what's in the next room, or you can go through the doors. And basically what you're doing is watching people get murdered, reversing time, and trying to save them.
Oh, cool.
And so you kind of pick up how to do that by like getting items, going from room to room, following people's movement patterns, and kind of intervening when you can. And it kind of gets more complex as it goes on.
And do you have to like not be seen or...
Yeah, if you can't be in a room with another person.
Right.
It doesn't automatically fail. You just have to get out of that room immediately.
Okay. So as an example, say they are murdered by a brick falling on their head.
Right.
If you can get into that room and move the brick.
Totally.
They won't be murdered in that room.
Yeah, and
That's
obviously there's some kind of thing of like, well, to get to the brick, there's like pigeons on the ladder, and you got to
Right.
get the pigeons away with some pigeon seed. And,
Man, pigeons, they never move if you come at them. They're hard to move.
oh no, that's sturdy bastards.
And this is all indoors, you're saying?
Well, not really pigeons, but like the very first one, it's basically a tutorial. Someone gets shot, you have to go into their room when they're not in there and replace the bullet with a blank.
Yep.
And you see that unfold, and then you take on powers of the people you save, and it
that's
just kinda
cool.
adds complexity as you go
This
through.
Yeah,
sounds
right.
fucking great.
That looks really cool.
And the aesthetic's really cool. The music's great. I remember hearing about this about a year ago.
Because it's been out for a while, yeah.
Yeah.
It just came out on the Switch.
Yes.
Okay.
And I heard it was great. And yeah, it's just like a really fun puzzle game with a cool aesthetic. And
Yeah, cool.
It was like $30 on the Switch. And yeah, I'm having a good time with it.
Awesome.
I want to give another quick shout out because I was playing a bit more of it recently, and it's in the exact same category of cool aesthetic, fun little puzzle game, horrible name, Lovers
Yes.
in a Dangerous Space-Time.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really good.
Yeah,
and
nice.
yeah, I think with both of those, I, for a long time with Lovers, was just like, I hate this name, I'm not going to go in. And I've had it with the Sexy Brutale.
Right.
If you're looking for something over the break, just do what you can to overcome that.
Yes.
I know it's hard, but
Yeah.
these sound like two that are worth the time.
Yeah, totally.
I've been playing a cool city management game
Yeah?
with a bad name as well. It's called Butt Fucking is the Only Type of Fucking I'll Accept.
Okay.
But you're the mayor. And it's just a city
Keep
sim.
going. Keep going.
Well, like,
All right. Now that, if I'm not mistaken, does actually bring us to the end of the program.
Correct.
Thank you all for listening. Sydney this weekend, filthycasuals.com.au for tickets. Saturday at 1 p.m. at Cake Wines, doing a live show, Mario Kart tournament after the recording. We'll be sticking around. We'll
Yeah.
have the Switches with us if you want to. I think we've got to get out of the venue because there's a function on, but we'll work something out.
Totally.
Knox and I doing stand-up at the Comedy Store in Sydney on Thursday, Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday.
Make a full day of it.
that
Make a
place
full
is great
day of it.
too.
It's a great venue.
Great lineup.
Yeah.
Great
I
venue.
think it might be close to selling out.
They're close to selling out.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, that's what we'll be doing after the show. Yeah, looking forward to seeing all the filth up in Sydney.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, get on your tickets. Not much longer to go until that happens. Meanwhile, if you want to support the show on Patreon, you are very very welcome to, and it's very much appreciated from us here. And yeah, we have T-shirts on sale. We have all sorts of stuff. filthycasuals.com.au for all that information.
The YouTube as well. Just get on. We have just Filthy Casuals on YouTube, and we do videos every week.
Oh, and you guys, for people in Melbourne, you have your Chimp Cop Comedy Festival show on sale now through comedyfestival.com.au.
I think my show is on sale too.
Right. Well, I know for Chimp Cop, go to chimpcop.com and go to upcoming shows.
Go and look at my Twitter, probably.
And mine will be on sale too at some stage, hopefully not too far away.
Nice.
If you're in New Zealand, I'm coming over there in March too for the New Zealand Fringe. You don't need to know that yet, though.
Probably
it's a long way away.
All right. Thanks for listening. And as we say here at the end of every episode of Filthy Casuals...
I'd like to thank everybody who helped me win this award for Best Game Erection. My dad... he helped a lot.
That's all.
This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates. I mean, if you want. It's up to you.